Okay, everyone. This is our first day of what you're going to start seeing the first week or two in Algebra 2 come the fall. The more serious that you guys take this, your level of seriousness, I highly believe and I'm confident in, will dictate how successful you are in those first couple weeks. All right. I know it's the end of the school year here in September with everything going on. It's hard to imagine, but I'm telling you guys, the more you take this seriously, the better off you'll be come the fall. Okay. And a lot of this stuff today, especially you've seen before in Algebra 1 last year. All right. So this is more review than anything else. Okay. So today's first topic is on exponents, all the rules. What happens when you multiply? What happens when you raise an exponent to another one? What happens when you divide? What if it's a negative exponent? All those rules we're going to go over right now. So the first one here on number 1 is what happens when you multiply. Before I get into that rule, I just want to make sure we're good with everything. Okay. When I write an exponent like that, the bottom part here, the A part's called the base, and the superscript above is called the exponent. Okay, because I want to start talking this vocabulary right now. So the first rule is what happens when you multiply when you have like bases. All right, what happens when you multiply two exponents with a like base? Your answer is you end up adding the exponent. So in this case, this would be b raised to the 7th power. You add them. Okay, you add them. Number 2, what happens when you take an exponent and raise it to another one? So I have x to the 3rd, but I'm raising that 3rd to the 2nd. And the answer to that one is you multiply them. So this would actually be x to the 6th. Okay, x to the 6th. When you raise an exponent to another one, you multiply them. Okay, number 3 is similar to number 2, except now you'll see the exponent of 2 on the outside. It's almost like the distributive property. Everything inside gets raised to the 2nd. So here you're going to have 3 to the 2nd times x to the 3rd raised to the 2nd power. And that ends up being 3 squared, 9. And we use our rule from number 2, x to the 6th. Okay, so everything inside gets raised to that exponent if it's outside the parenthesis. Number 4, what happens when we divide? Well, when we divide, we subtract. We subtract the exponent. So this would become x to the 3rd. All right, hopefully this sounds a little bit familiar to you, just refreshing the memory from last year in Algebra 1. Anything raised to the 0, anything raised to the 0 is always 1. Okay? Any base raised to a 0 is always 1. All right, negatives. All right, negative exponents. All right, you'll see my rule down here below. If you want to make a negative exponent positive, you send it to the denominator of a fraction. Okay, you send it to the denominator of a fraction. Okay, so again, if the exponent is negative, you send it to the denominator. All right, to the denominator. Everybody good there? Okay, here we go. Now we're going to multiply using our exponent rule. So part A, 3x squared times 10x to the negative 4th. You're just going to multiply. So multiply your numbers. You get 30x. Now, since we're multiplying, that's going back up to rule number 1. You add the exponents. So 2 plus a negative 4 gives me negative 2. Now, usually, and this is what I'm going to have you guys do, have your answer as positive exponents only. Positive exponents only, so I don't want to leave it like this. What I want to do is leave it as a positive exponent, and this is now rule number 6, which is what do you do with a negative exponent? You send it to the denominator. Here's my question to you guys before I do that. What is being raised to the negative 2? Is it 30x or is it just the x being raised to the negative 2? And the answer there is it's just the x. So the 30 is going to stay right where it is. The only thing I'm going to send to the denominator is x, and it becomes squared now. Okay, so that's my final answer for that one. All right, the 30 stays where it is because that's not the one being raised to the negative exponent. The only thing I move is the one being raised to the negative exponent. Going on to B, straight multiplication. 4 times 8 gives me 32. I'm going to add the exponents on the like bases. So x squared and x to the 5th give me x to the 7th. Y and y to the 3rd give me y to the 4th. No negative exponents. That was it for that one. Okay, next up. This is going back to rule number 3. Everything inside gets raised to the second. Everything inside gets raised to the second. So it's going to be, I'll just write it all out. -5 is going to get raised to the second, and x to the 4th is going to get raised to the second. That gives me 25. X, raise an exponent to another one. What do? Multiply, so x to the 8th. Okay, 25x to the 8th. And just a quick reminder here, I don't think since being in honors, you shouldn't have to do this, but if anybody went to their calculator and did -5 squared in problem number C we just finished, make sure it's in parentheses, please. All right, so -5 all squared. Got to be in parentheses, because if you did -5 squared like that, it's -25. I don't want to get in the reason why. I'm sure you've been told in the past, but make sure you put everything in parentheses. Okay, here we go with part D. Same thing, straight multiplication. I'm going to do 2/3 times 12, which is 8. X to the 4th times x. I'm going to add the exponents, so it's x to the 5th. No issues there. Here we go. Let's multiply across. 2 times 5 times -6. That gives me -60. X, add the exponents. 2 plus 1 plus 4. So that gives me 7. Okay, no negative. The -60 is fine. I just can't have a negative exponent. All right, let's keep trucking. This one here, everything is being raised to the 0. So our answer would just be anything raised to the 0 power is 1. Okay, is 1. Okay. Anything, make sure, look at that. I'm going to put a new one in here just in case you guys have this one here. Versus if I put this, say I did that, no parentheses. What's the only thing being raised to the 0? It's x. So this part right here would become 1 times 4. This would actually be equal to 4. Okay, see how that works? The only thing that's equal to 1 is whatever's being raised to the 0, which in that case is x. Okay, and then we got a little division. What's our rule when we divide? We subtract. So r squared over r squared, 2 minus 2 is 0. Done. No more r's. S to the -9 over 4. So if you want to go to your calculator and quickly just check, -9, and I'm subtracting because that's the rule, -4. Gives me -13. So this is going to be s to the -13. T, ready? 4 minus -3 to the 7th. That becomes positive. All right. So now I can't have a negative in my answer, right? So it's got to go to the denominator. But the t to the 7th doesn't need to go anywhere because that 7's already positive. So t to the 7th over s to the 13th. Okay? So the positive exponent stays where it is. -1 gets sent to the denominator. All right, so hopefully we're good on our rules there. Okay, here we go. Just straight multiplying. Good old days here. Double distribute. We may have to triple distribute here. Who knows? All right, so here we go. First one, use your exponent rules. So here we go. First one, I'm going to get 14x to the 3rd, y to the 4th, minus 35x, y to the 8th. Add the exponents, add the exponents, add the exponents. All right, moving on. Next, part B. Make sure, let's distribute here first. X squared minus 5x plus 6x minus 30. And combine your like terms. You're going to get x squared plus x minus 30. All right, we're good here. We're good. Okay, moving on here. Whew, all right, now we're going to get a little algebra 2 here in you. So ready, double distribute, FOIL, whatever you called it. I like double distribute. these two first. That's going to give me a x squared. Next is going to give me plus c x squared. Now I'm going to do the negative y. The negatives attaches to the y. Don't forget about it. Minus ya minus yc. There are no like terms there. Remember, like terms means same variable, same exponents, which I do not have there, so I am done. Woo, part D, buckle up, boys and gals, buckle up. We have 3 of them now, so my piece of advice is going to be do 2 at a time. Okay, just do 2 at a time. Do not do all 3. So I'm only going to do these first 2 here and say, all right, x squared plus x or minus x. Shoot. There we go. Minus x plus 2x minus 1. So that's those first 2 I did right there and right there. Okay, minus 2, not 1. Let me just make sure I got that. X squared minus x plus 2x minus 2. Got it. So combining the like terms, you get x squared plus x minus 2. And now you're going to multiply the 2x plus 5. Okay, now here's where you got to be careful. Take your darn time. Take your time because you're going to be doing a lot of distribution here. Okay, now you can take x squared, x, and negative 2 and distribute it 3 times, or you can take the 2x and the 5 over here and distribute it twice. It's up to you. All right, which way you want to distribute. Just make sure you're consistent. All right, I'll just stick here. So let's see, 2x squared plus 2x to the third, add your exponents, plus 5x squared. So again, where did that come from, everybody? That came from here to there. Okay, now let me distribute the x. So that's going to be plus 2x squared plus 5x. And again, where did I get that from? I got that from taking this x here and here. And then the last one I'm going to distribute is the negative 2. Make sure the negative stays with it. So minus 4x minus 10. And then I'm going to combine my like terms. 2x to the third plus 7x squared minus x minus 10. There it is. Okay. Now that we've done part D, part E, part E is all on your own right now. Pause the video. We'll get back to work here in a second. Hopefully we'll have the same answer. Okay, there you go, guys. 12y to the third plus 41y squared plus 79y plus 77. Okay? All right. Make sure you show your work on packet page 5. It's everything we've gone over. Okay? All the rules, everything we just went over right here. Okay? So take your time. I'm just looking at this right now, number 34. Make sure you guys distribute a negative 3, just not a 3. All right? Get after it, guys. I know you'll do well. This is going to help you, benefit you a ton come next September. Take care, guys.